I have been wanting to diversify the content in my channel for a while now. And yes, I am noticeably inactive, but you're gonna see a bit more of me for a while now. This isn't anything new. You can find great anime reviews from intelligent people such as DXFence619 or Draconis March. There is no reason why my opinion should be held over theirs. After all, most of the shit I'm going to say is similar to their content. From my standpoint, however, I am going into my scores with a more literary sense. Spoilers may be ahead. You have been warned. Keep in mind, this is from my perspective and what I think is a good anime. You don't really need to change your own opinions. So, good animes, in my opinion, primarily need excellent storytelling, good art, and you probably, like in my standpoint, I probably need to enjoy it. I don't know about you, maybe you don't like enjoying your anime, so whatever. Storytelling criteria, well, there needs to be a decent plot, there needs to be good character development, and I need to find the characters to be a bit compelling or interesting. For an anime to be good or great, in my opinion, there also needs to be a bit more literary elements and devices. Google that if you don't even know what I mean. You should have learned this in English class. Sufficient amount of events that lead to dramatic intensity, such as drama. A message or the theme of the story. Basically, what do you learn? What's like the significance of the story? If the audience does not learn anything from the content, how do they move on? In addition, there needs to be decent usage of intelligent dialogue. I'll show some examples of generic and intelligent dialogue in the screen right now. I really don't value dialogue as much as other criteria. Let's move on forward. Stories need to have structure. This is not the beginning, middle, and end. We are talking about exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, and, of course, the ending. This goes on hand in hand with the pacing of the story. You don't want stories that start with the climax. You don't want to confuse the audience by not explaining enough. And you don't want to confuse them by exposing everything at once. This is really stuff you should learn by English class, or whatever you have in America or Europe. Let's bundle this up, shall we? So, good storytelling has decent plot, character development, compelling characters, usage of literary elements and devices, a message, theme, purpose, logical dialogue, and of course, structure, as I said before. A good chunk of this can be represented by the 5 W's. Who, what, when, where, why. And you could also add how, if you want. Let's look at the top stuff on my own anime list. No surprise here. The top stuff on my own anime list are Berserk and Neon Genesis Evangelion. Let's first look at Berserk. Berserk obviously has a plot, it has great character development, and the characters are compelling. You would like most of them. Berserk also has a theme. The story is clearly unfinished, as is the manga. So that does not critically affect the assessment of Berserk. This leads me to say that the pacing is fascinating in regards to how it builds up to the climax, which probably nobody saw coming. And there are much more to expand here, but for the sake of the length of this video, that could be something of its own later on. Now, let's go to Neon Genesis Evangelion. The plot is intriguing, the characters each serve a purpose, and they are also compelling. The characters also have diverse personalities, none of them are the same. And there are many uses of literary elements and devices that are sometimes even unintentional, as the creator Ano has said before. The message, purpose, and theme of the whole story is also apparent with the conclusions of the original anime. And you can also say end of Evangelion as well. NGE deals with many themes. There's a whole Wikipedia page on it. Go look it up. The structure is quite weird, which still emphasizes the storytelling aspect of NGE. You can have a weird structure, as long as you know what the fuck you're doing. In this case, the structure and ambiguous nature of this psychological phenomenon succeeds amazingly well. Oh man, now let's go to the bottom stuff on my own anime list, shall we? We have Dragon Ball GT, and we also have Sword Art Online. Ah man. As a childhood fan of Dragon Ball Z, I did enjoy GT. However, from a critical standpoint, it is horrendous. There is little to no use of devices or elements, the characters are almost never developed, and Goku takes all the cake. Literally, Goku defeats every single major villain in the series. Not to mention that 2 major villains and their backstories are just slight rehashes of old ones. You can see on the screen right now. GT is completely unoriginal, filled with plot holes, and just doesn't know what mood it should take. Then we can move on to Sword Art Online. And I'm not gonna even say anything about Sword Art Online. I have 2 friends, well, 1 technically, DXFan619 and Draconis March, who has videos that you can see which critically look at Sword Art Online. Oh man, fuck Sword Art Online. Obviously enough, anime are Japanese production that use both storytelling and uses of animation. If we were to rate a series based on one side of the scale, it would be ridiculous and inaccurate, because both serve a significant role. However, art should serve as an add-on to storytelling in terms of serious criticism, if an anime has good use of storytelling and good uses of cinematics. Good for it. If anime has poor use of both, we can send it to hell. We will categorize these layers with art, animation, and sound. First, art. Does the art style fit the content and the setting of the story? Is the art unique? Is it memorable? Does the art fit the mood? Are the character designs unique or non-repetitive? Let's go back to Berserk. The bloody and graphic art style obviously fits into the medieval timeline of the story. It is also memorable and different than other manga. Unique art styles are tricky. Let's talk about the Bleach manga. Kubo's art style is one of the better and more unique styles out there right now. He intentionally does not use any background sometimes, but his character designs make up for it. However, Kubo fails to create memorable storytelling after the Soul Society arc. The anime thus follows the same pattern, with the uses of filler as well, because fillers are generally stupid. Does the art fit the mood? You don't want the graphic art Berserk has on something like Madoka Magica or Angel Bates. Are the character designs unique or non-repetitive? This is simply put. Let's look at the animation now. Is the animation fluid? Does the animation blend with the art? Kind of stands for itself, eh? Maggie is an anime where the art is absolutely splendid, but the animation falls flat at some points. However, it does blend with the art. Sound. Does the sound fit the scene? Is the sound pleasing to the ear? Is there a good diversity of instruments? Simply put here, you don't want some emotional music in an intense fight. Bleach and Evangelion both are examples of amazing soundtracks, and that's because of their composer Shiro Sugisu. Battle scenes have epic battle music, emotional scenes often have a piano or violin. It's that simple, really. Now, we're gonna go on into a more general sense. All of the top anime on my anime list have an excellent blend of both storytelling and aesthetics. And that's how it should be. Hunter x Hunter is a clear showing of a manga in which the art is absolutely horrid, whereas the storytelling and usage of many different elements is great. The 2011 anime is thus rated higher since the aesthetics are much greater than the aesthetics from the manga, whereas the storytelling is equally as good as the manga as well. Enjoyment. This is simple. Do you enjoy the anime you are watching? It can be enjoyable, but it could also not be good. Or it could be good, and it could not be enjoyable. And that pretty much concludes this video. I'm gonna announce some upcoming projects right now. See you later.